Hey everyone, welcome back to the Daily English Listening Podcast. I'm Michelle, and if you're an English learner, this podcast is for you.
And I'm Chris, ready for a new episode with you English learners.
That sounds great, Chris. How would you like to start?
I would like to tell you something that took me years to figure out about learning English.
Please, I'll love it to hear that.
When I was younger, I went to a weekend English academy. 4 hours of grammar mostly, every single Saturday.
That sounds like a lot of coffee and a lot of pain.
Both. And when I got to university, my English still wasn't where I thought it would be after all those hours.
So what actually fixed it?
A friend I met there, she spoke so smoothly, and her secret wasn't more hours. It was 15 minutes a day, no matter what.
15 minutes a day beating 4 hours a week? That is not possible. Okay, now I need to know why that works.
Small steps, repeated often, beat big pushes done rarely.
Today, we're talking about the power of consistency in English and why 15 minutes a day can take you further than 5 hours on a Saturday.
This idea matters because most learners think progress needs big blocks of free time.
A whole free afternoon, a quiet weekend, the perfect study session.
But most of us never get that afternoon. Life fills it first.
So the plan collapses before it even starts.
Right, which means the plan itself was the problem, not your motivation.
That's a relief to hear, honestly.
It also means the fix isn't trying harder, it's designing a smaller, more realistic plan in the first place.
Something that fits into a normal, imperfect life instead of an ideal one.
And if this episode is already making you rethink your own routine, this is a good moment to subscribe to the Daily English Listening Podcast so you never miss an episode.
A like helps more people find us too. It genuinely makes a difference for a small podcast like ours.
All right, Michelle, tell us about your Saturday Academy days. I want the details.
Oh, I have a story that connects to this in a slightly embarrassing way.
Even better.
A few years ago, I decided I was going to master Italian. Real commitment, I told myself.
I remember this. You bought the color-coded folder.
I bought the color-coded folder. I planned 3-hour Sunday sessions, verb conjugation charts, the whole system.
How long did the system survive?
4 Sundays. Then one Sunday I had a work deadline, the next I was tired, and after that, the folder just sat there.
The folder became furniture.
Pure furniture. It lived on my desk for 2 months doing absolutely nothing.
So the 3 hours turned into 0 hours.
Right, because I had built a routine that depended on a perfect empty Sunday, and perfect empty Sundays are rare.
What happened after the folder era ended?
I got frustrated and almost gave up completely. Then a colleague mentioned she practiced Italian for 10 minutes every morning with her coffee. Nothing fancy, just 10 minutes.
10 minutes felt too small to matter, I bet.
That's what I thought too. It felt almost embarrassing to call it studying, but I tried it, and something surprising happened.
What was that?
The 10 minutes never got skipped because it was small enough to survive a busy day. A 3-hour session gets canceled. 10 minutes barely gets noticed, so it slides in even on chaotic days.
So the size of the habit protected it.
That's it. And after a few months, those small mornings had added up to more real practice than my entire failed folder system.
Did you ever go back to the big Sunday blocks?
No, I realized the goal isn't finding more time. It's finding a habit small enough that missing it feels wrong.
A habit small enough that missing it feels wrong. I like that a lot.
Small and steady beats big and occasional almost every time.
Did the 10 minutes ever grow, or did it stay 10 minutes forever?
It grew naturally, actually. After about 2 months, I noticed I sometimes kept going for 20 or 30 minutes without deciding to.
So the small habit opened the door and momentum did the rest.
That's the part nobody tells you. You don't force yourself into a bigger habit. You just naturally slide into it once the small one feels effortless.
What about the days you genuinely didn't want to open the book at all?
I told myself I only had to read 1 page. Just open it, read 1 page, and if I wanted to stop after that, I could.
And did you usually stop after 1 page?
Almost never. Starting was the hard part. Once I was already in it, finishing the full 10 minutes felt easy.
That connects directly to what I want to tell you about my English journey, actually.
Go on, I'm ready.
So, back to that weekend academy story from the hook. 4 hours every Saturday for almost 2 years.
And your English still wasn't where you wanted it at university.
Not close. I could explain grammar rules perfectly on paper, but the moment someone spoke to me quickly, I froze.
The classroom knowledge didn't transfer to real conversation.
Right, because 4 hours once a week isn't immersion, it's a lecture. My brain treated English like a subject, not like a language I actually lived in.
So what did your friend's advice actually look like day to day?
15 minutes of English immersion, but it could be anything. Watching a show, reading a few pages, talking to myself in the mirror, writing a short journal entry.
The activity didn't matter as much as the daily contact.
Right. The point was staying in contact with the language every single day, even in small doses, instead of one long dose once a week.
How hard was it to actually stick with it at first?
Honestly, the first 2 weeks felt pointless. 15 minutes felt too small to matter, just like your 10 minutes of Italian.
But you kept going anyway.
I kept going mostly out of stubbornness. And then around week 6, something clicked. I understood a joke in a show without pausing to translate it.
That's a real milestone.
It didn't feel dramatic in the moment. It felt like nothing, actually, just a small, quiet click.
But small, quiet clicks add up.
They compound. That's the word for it, right? Each day's 15 minutes builds on the last one instead of starting from zero.
Was there ever a week where you almost quit the habit completely?
Yes, actually. Around month 4, I got really busy with exams, and I told myself I'd pause for 1 week and come back stronger.
How did that pause go?
It didn't stay 1 week. 1 week became 2, and by week 3, I genuinely felt my English slipping backward.
So the pause itself became the real risk, not the exams.
Right, the exams were temporary, but the broken habit almost became permanent. I had to relearn the discomfort of starting again.
What got you back into it?
I lowered the bar again. Instead of 15 minutes, I told myself 5 minutes was enough to count, just to rebuild the habit first.
And once the habit came back, did it climb back up to 15 minutes on its own?
Within about 10 days, yes. It turns out restarting small is much faster than starting from nothing.
Say more about that idea, because I think it's the heart of today's episode.
Think about the weekend academy. Every Saturday, I basically restarted. I forgot half of last week's grammar by the time Saturday came around again.
So each session was mostly review, not real progress.
A lot of it was just relearning what I'd already half forgotten. The gap between sessions was long enough to erase progress.
While 15 minutes a day means almost no gap at all.
Almost none. Your brain barely has time to forget before you're back in the language again.
So the daily habit isn't just more frequent, it's structurally different.
It's built on top of yesterday instead of replacing yesterday.
Here's something we want to ask you, actually.
What is the smallest daily English habit you could realistically keep, even on your busiest day?
Not your ideal habit, not the one that requires a free afternoon, the one you could do even on a terrible, exhausting Tuesday.
Write it in the comments. We read every single one, and we're genuinely curious what counts as small enough for you.
Let's talk about why this compounding effect actually works, because I don't think it's just about repetition.
What do you mean?
When you practice daily, the language stays active in your memory. Each small session refreshes what came before it instead of letting it fade.
Like watering a plant a little bit every day instead of flooding it once a week.
That's a good way to put it. A little water daily keeps the roots healthy. A flood once a week can actually drown them.
I've definitely felt flooded after one of those long weekend sessions, mentally exhausted and somehow still forgetting things by Wednesday.
Because your brain absorbs new language better in shorter, more frequent doses. Long sessions create fatigue, and fatigue blocks real learning.
So more hours doesn't automatically mean more learning.
Not even close. Past a certain point, extra hours in one sitting mostly produce tiredness, not fluency.
This is where the habit itself becomes more important than the willpower behind it.
Say more.
Willpower is unreliable. Some days you have plenty, some days you have none. But a habit that's small enough runs almost automatically even on the low willpower days.
So the habit protects your progress from your own bad days.
Right, because you're not relying on feeling motivated. You're relying on something that barely requires motivation in the first place.
And over months, that automatic small habit becomes part of your identity, not just a task on a list.
What do you mean by identity?
At first, you're someone who is trying to practice English. After enough repetition, you become someone who simply does practice English, the same way you brush your teeth without debating it first.
The habit stops needing a decision every day.
Right, it becomes automatic, and automatic habits survive busy weeks that would destroy a big deliberate plan.
How does someone actually build that kind of automatic habit, though? It sounds nice in theory.
A few things help. First, attach the new habit to something you already do every day.
Like your friend attaching Italian to her morning coffee.
That's the one. The coffee was already automatic, so the language borrowed that same automatic moment.
What else?
Keep the habit embarrassingly small at the start, small enough that skipping it feels strange, not effortful.
15 minutes, not 2 hours.
Even smaller if needed. 5 minutes of real daily English beats an ambitious plan you abandon by day 4.
What's the third thing?
Track it somehow. Even simply, seeing a growing streak gives you a reason to protect it, especially on the days you don't feel like practicing.
I've noticed that myself. I don't want to break a streak, even a small one.
That protective instinct is powerful, and it's honestly stronger than most people expect.
Is there a downside to tracking it, though? Could someone get too obsessed with the number?
It can happen, sure. If the streak becomes more important than the language itself, that's a sign to loosen up a little.
So the streak is a tool, not the actual goal.
Right, the goal is still fluency. The streak is just something that helps your brain protect the daily habit until it becomes automatic on its own.
Once it's automatic, do you still need to track it?
Not really. At that point, the habit runs itself, the same way you don't track how many times you check your phone in the morning.
That's an interesting comparison, because nobody has to motivate themselves to check their phone.
That's the point. We want daily English to eventually feel that automatic, something you do without negotiating with yourself first.
Let's make this practical. Say someone's been stuck in the big weekend session pattern, like both of us were.
The first move is shrinking the habit, not expanding it. Go smaller before you go longer.
So instead of 4 hours on Saturday, what would you suggest?
15 minutes every single day, doing something enjoyable enough that you'll actually return to it.
Enjoyable matters here.
A lot. If the daily habit feels like punishment, it won't survive contact with a busy week. Choose something you'd almost do anyway.
For me, that was a show I actually wanted to watch, just in English instead of subtitles.
For someone else, it might be a song, a podcast, or texting a friend in English.
What if someone misses a day? Does the whole thing fall apart?
No, and this matters a lot. One missed day is just one missed day. 2 missed days in a row is where a habit actually starts to unravel.
So the real rule is never miss twice.
That's the rule I'd give anyone starting this. Miss once, that's life. Miss twice, and you're building a new, weaker pattern.
I like having one simple rule instead of 10 complicated ones.
Simple rules survive real life. Complicated systems usually don't.
Let's practice putting this into real sentences, the kind you might actually say to yourself this week.
Good idea. Imagine it's the end of a long day and you almost skip your practice.
You could say, I don't have energy for a full session, but I can manage 5 minutes.
That sentence protects the streak without demanding perfection.
Or imagine you missed yesterday and you're tempted to just skip today too.
You could say, I missed one day, but I'm not going to miss 2 in a row.
That's the never miss twice rule turned into an actual sentence you can say out loud.
And if someone asks why you only study for such a short time each day,
You could say, I'd rather be consistent for 15 minutes than perfect for one weekend.
that single sentence really summarizes everything we've talked about today.
It does. Small, honest, repeatable language instead of big promises you can't keep.
All right, we've used some strong words today. Should we slow a few of them down? Let's go to word tour.
Next word, consistency. Repeat after me. Consistency. One more time. Consistency. And the last one, consistency.
Consistency means doing something regularly in the same steady way over time. If you study 15 minutes every day without skipping, you have consistency. For example, her consistency with daily reading helped her finish 12 books this year. Or, consistency matters more than intensity when you're building a new skill. And real consistency isn't about being perfect, it's about rarely missing 2 days in a row.
Here's the next word, compound. Say it with me. Compound. Once more, compound. And to finish it off, compound.
To compound means to grow gradually by building on what came before, so small gains combine into something much bigger. If you practice a little every day, your progress compounds over months. For example, his vocabulary compounded quickly once he started reading for 10 minutes daily. Or, small daily habits compound into major changes that a single big effort could never produce. And interest in a savings account compounds the same way small English habits do, slowly, then suddenly.
Moving on to our next word, immersion. Try it out loud. Immersion. Again, immersion. And one last time, immersion.
Immersion means surrounding yourself with a language so it becomes part of your daily environment, not just a subject you study. Watching shows, reading, and thinking in English are all forms of immersion. For example, 15 minutes of daily immersion taught him more than his old weekend classes. Or, true immersion doesn't require living abroad, it just requires daily contact with the language. And immersion works because your brain treats it as normal exposure instead of forced study.
Next phrase, ingrained. Repeat after me. Ingrained. One more round. Ingrained. And the final repeat, ingrained.
If something is ingrained, it has become so automatic through repetition that you barely think about doing it anymore. After a few months, her morning English habit became completely ingrained. For example, once a habit is ingrained, missing it actually feels uncomfortable. Or, good pronunciation habits once ingrained early are much easier to keep than to fix later. And ingrained routines survive busy weeks that would destroy habits you still have to consciously choose.
Here's the next phrase, stick with it. Give it a try. Stick with it. Once more, stick with it. And the last one, stick with it.
To stick with it means to continue doing something consistently, even when progress feels slow or invisible. The advice was simple: choose something small and stick with it daily. For example, she almost quit after 2 weeks, but she decided to stick with it a little longer. Or, most people don't fail because the method is wrong. They fail because they don't stick with it long enough to see results. And sticking with it through the boring middle part is usually where real fluency quietly begins.
Last word of the day, pay off. Say it with me. Pay off. Again, pay off. And to finish it off, pay off.
When something pays off, it produces a good result after time and effort, especially after it seemed like nothing was happening. Those quiet 15-minute mornings eventually paid off in a real conversation. For example, his patience with the daily habit paid off during his first unscripted business call. Or, consistency doesn't always feel like it's working, but eventually it pays off in ways a single big study session never could. And small habits rarely feel like they're paying off day to day. You usually only notice it looking backwards.
So those are today's words: consistency, compound, immersion, ingrained,
stick with it, and pay off.
And these words describe something bigger than vocabulary. They describe how real change actually happens.
Slowly, quietly, one small day at a time.
If you want to keep practicing these words after the episode, our transcripts and word tour drills are a great way to make them stick.
Before we go, I want to circle back to something. My friend's advice wasn't complicated at all. 15 minutes, every day, no matter what.
And yet, it changed your entire relationship with English.
It did, because it wasn't about finding more time. It was about protecting a small piece of time so consistently that it eventually compounded into fluency.
Your Saturday Academy gave you knowledge. Her advice gave you a habit.
And the habit is what actually carried me through university and beyond.
It's strange, isn't it? The advice that changes everything is rarely dramatic. It's usually something small and slightly boring.
15 minutes doesn't sound like the kind of thing you'd put in a movie about learning a language.
No, but it's the thing that actually works, long after the excitement of a big study plan has worn off.
I think that's true for a lot of things beyond language too, honestly.
It is. Consistency rarely feels impressive while you're doing it. It only looks impressive when you look back months later.
So if today's episode gives you nothing else, let it give you permission to start small.
Smaller than feels reasonable, even. You can always add more once the habit is protected.
So if you're listening today and thinking about your own big, ambitious study plan, maybe the real move is shrinking it first. 15 minutes today and again tomorrow is worth more than 4 hours you'll probably cancel this Saturday.
If you want to keep building on today's episode, we also have one about building English speaking confidence, which pairs really well with a daily habit like this.
It's a great next step once your daily 15 minutes starts feeling comfortable and you're ready to actually speak more, not just absorb. Small and daily beats big and rare every single time.
This is Michelle.
And this is Chris.
Take care of your English.
And take care of your heart. Bye, everyone.
Bye.